Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
This is the third year of the 49ers roster countdown, and the madness of doing a 90-part series is ridiculous. But some things don't change, and it doesn't matter. 3 years, 2022, 2023, and now we're doing 2024. Jauan Jennings, listen to these ranks. In 2022, the first year we did it, he was 25th on our list. In 2023, last year, he was 24th on our list. And this year, 2024, he is 25th on our list. Just consistent. And in a league where there's always so many ups and downs and ebbs and flows and ceilings and valleys and whatever you want to say it, Jauan Jennings just is. He is the constant. Jauan Jennings is a flat circle. Somebody got that reference. Shout out to my man Josh for being the executive producer of today's show. Now, what people don't know, Jauan Jennings' first name is Bernie. Burning Jauan Jennings. Not shocked that he went with Jauan, but Bernie's got a nice little ring to it. Now, interesting player coming off an extension. We'll talk about those contract details later. He's had a weird career. And that was way before he made it to the NFL. You can go back to high school. You go back to college. Position changes, quarterback, wide receiver, safety, success everywhere he went. And then to, the NFL now. Like, here's another thing. Jauan Jennings had 19 catches last year. That's it. But, man, talk about how big those 19 catches were during the season. Then you look at what he did in the postseason. It's very difficult to put your kind of thumb on why he's so great, because he's great. Nobody disagrees with that. But, this is why. Stats don't tell the story of Jauan Jennings. It's way more than that. It's culture, it's attitude, it's tone setting, it's dependability, it's clutch moments, right? He's just awesome. And now we go through his metrics. He was a 7th-round pick. And got cut his rookie year by the 49ers, who really liked him, had a hamstring issue, never played a game. And so even though he's been in the NFL now for 4 years, he's only played 3 seasons. That's it. Now, he wears jersey number 15, 6'3", 215. He's a bigger wide receiver, no doubt about it. 31 and 5'8", 31-inch arms. It's pretty small. 27 years old, still young, ran a 4.72 40-yard dash. Now, to put that into perspective, that is in the bottom 2% of NFL wide receivers. He ain't fast. And whatever you usually see, these wide receivers that are quote-unquote slow, 4.7 is fast, but, compared to NFL wide receivers slow, they can't get separation. Jauan Jennings gets separation with the best of them. I mean, it's just uncanny what he's able to do. He had you look at his vertical, 29-inch vertical. Not good. Bottom 2% of NFL wide receivers. So he's not fast, can't jump, even though he was a big-time basketball player, won some state championships and things like that. But he's an interesting guy. He really is. He's from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, went to Blackman High School, then chose to go to Tennessee, the Volunteers, TU. Business administration degree, loved that, was a 4-star recruit. He was Mr. Tennessee in football. This dude, he played some ball. Played basketball, won a state championship, was a top 200 basketball recruit as well. He averaged 12.3 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 2.9 assists in high school. That's incredible. Whole family's full of athletes. Dad played at Northern Alabama, first-team All-American there. He's in UNA's Hall of Fame. His older sister, Alexis, played basketball at Kentucky and South Carolina. She was a all-SEC basketball player. Come on, man. The pedigree, check. Played quarterback in high school, threw for 22 touchdowns, led his team to a state championship in 2013 as a quarterback and a safety. He was Mr. Tennessee Division I 3A as a senior. He had offers from Alabama, Penn State, Ohio State, all those. Chose to stay local. Went to Tennessee. Didn't go well. In fact, he got kicked off of his team because, here, I want to give the actual quote. Called the coaches, quote, fake, lying, snakes. That's the end quote, by the way. Yeah, it's what it is. Sorry, there is more to this quote. Quote, Coaches were holding them back and to bring us to a coaching staff that's honest, end quote. He gets kicked off the team. New coaching staff comes in, they bring him back. Just when I thought I was out, they brought me back in. Smart of them to do so. He goes out and earns second team All-SEC and was on the Blitnikoff Award watch list in 2019. Made it to the Senior Bowl. But before he left, one of the most iconic plays maybe in recent Tennessee history, just type in Tennessee Hail Mary or Jauan Jennings Hail Mary. You're going to see two 49ers on there. You got Joshua Dobbs lobbing it up at the end of a game, and you see Jauan Jennings coming down with it. So that's pretty cool. Teammates, he's got a little bit of chemistry with Dobbs. They're probably going to be number 2. A little bit more of a competition than I thought it would be. Nickname, Third and Jauan, baby. Third and Jauan. And it fits perfectly. He's become more and more popular with the 49ers fan base, and it's just gosh, man. He just fits here. He is a 49ers player through and through. You have guys like Dre Greenlaw, George Kittle, right? These are types of tone setters, maybe the most physical at his position in the NFL. It's up there. There's a lot of guys that come to mind across the NFL that are physical wide receivers. Jauan Jennings is up there, pancaking people, blocking people into Gatorade sets on the side. I mean, he's awesome, and he's just become third in Jauan. Those clutch moments. In 2022, he had 23 first down receptions. This year, he only had 19 total catches during the season, but he did have 11 catches in the postseason, which is huge. Great blocker. Talked about the physicality and the energy that he brings. Listen to his teammate George Kittle just talk about the value of Jauan Jennings.
Explain his value. I think every single person in the NFL that watches tape, every general manager, every scout, anybody that watches tape, they look at Jauan's film and they're like, holy cow, this guy is one of one. His mindset and his attitude when he's on a football field is completely different. He goes to that dark place that Coach Shanahan would talk about with Pierre Garçon, and he just is very violent in the way that he plays the game, which you don't see in all receivers. He will hit defensive ends as hard as he can. He'll hit linebackers as hard as he can. He's not scared of anything. And if you need him to win on a one-on-one rep, he's going to win on that one-on-one rep. He's got incredibly strong hands. And it's just when you can, for a guy that does it all, he runs the routes, he does the run game. He shows up every day, loving the game with a great attitude every single day. And then you get the game day and he makes all those plays. That's someone that you want to be in your building. It's someone that you want to pay. That's someone you want to reward because he's just going to keep bringing that every single day, and he's just going to raise the standard of everybody around him. So when you have a guy like that does everything, it's great for us.
That's well said. I love George Kittle describing other players. But for Jauan Jennings, there's this new term in the NFL called wide receiver plus. And what that means is you're a wide receiver, but you're closer to a blocking tight end as well. Not closer to, but you add this addition, wide receiver plus. The Rams, that's kind of the Sean McVay. You got Puka, and you got Cooper Kupp. Those guys, these bigger-bodied wide receivers that you could do those crack back blocks against defensive ends and linebackers for that outside crack toss, all those things. Jauan Jennings is him. And so whenever you look at the stats and you see 19 catches on the course of a season, you're like, wow, this dude got a $15 million extension? The answer is yes. Why? Christian McCaffrey was Offensive Player of the Year. Why? A large part because of Jauan Jennings. Now, obviously not all Jauan Jennings, but he plays a crucial role in making all those plays and those running plays work because he's an asset in the run game and he's an asset in the pass game. He's an asset in the locker room and he's an asset in the fourth quarter and third down. So it's just you just keep putting pluses. And it's just this dude is an addition. Perhaps not on the stat sheet again, but it's what he is. Now, you look at just what he accomplished. What he did in the Super Bowl was incredible. The second player in NFL history to register a touchdown reception and a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. Only 2 people have ever done that. First wide receiver to throw a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl since 2005. One of the best players. He had 4 catches, 42 yards, and threw a 21-yard touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. That's huge. Probably would have been Super Bowl MVP, to be honest with you. Now, you look at what he did in the season, 498 snaps, 469 on offense, 29 on special teams. Now, just his offensive snaps, again, he's the third wide receiver, And the 49ers run the fewest 3 wide receiver sets in the NFL. The fewest. He was on the field for only 39% of snaps. And that might have been a little elevated because he started 2 games for Debo whenever he was injured. So, like, again, common sense says, look, it's a slot wide receiver. You run the fewest slot wide receiver sets. You drafted a slot wide receiver in the first round in Ricky Pearsall. Yeah, let's just let this be. But that's not the way the 49ers operate. Cake and eat it too. We want to keep one of the most physical slot wide receivers in the NFL, but we also want to draft a first-round wide receiver that creates space. Different styles. Yeah, I think Ricky Pearsall is going to play all over the place. But, again, the value is culture and locker room and clutch moments. That's why they keep bringing him back. You look at his PFF grades, it's nothing really to, like, hang your hat on. 68.0 overall, 66.2 receiving, 61.7 special teams, 77.2 run blocking, and 88.9 rating when targeted. He had 1 drop last year, so that's pretty low for Purdy, to be honest with you. You look at his PFF grades in the postseason, though, 82.3 overall, 81.1 receiving. Just shows up. Just signed his 2-year deal. Man, and let's talk about the deal. He signed a 2-year, $15.3 million deal. Okay, he was tendered as a restricted free agent. That was going to pay him $4.8 million. So the 49ers went above and beyond. He didn't show up for training camp and all that stuff. And so this basically secures him this year, next year. And so, like, here's what's crazy. The 49ers picked up more cap space this year. We got $2.1 million more cap space by doing this deal. However, in 2026, there's a void year with an $8.2 million cap hit, which means Jauan Jennings' biggest hit to this team is going to be when he's no longer on it, unless they restructure and do another deal, which is a possibility. We'll see what that looks like. But it gave the 49ers just, look, man, let's keep this wide receiver core together, and let's see what it looks like. The Ayuk deal, we'll see how that pans out. But if you look at the career earnings, how much Jauan Jennings has made as a 7th-round pick, $8.88 million so far in his career. Now, what's even weirder, $6.2 million of that was all the signing bonus on his recent deal. So this is a player who has not, I mean, he was looking at, just north of $2 million as a career going into this offseason. The 49ers rewarded him. $6.2 million signing bonus, get him a bunch of cash up front, reward him for what he's put through and what he's done for your team. Now, what's interesting to me, I didn't know this, shout out to Josh. We got the draft pick to select Jauan Jennings, 7th-round pick, 217th overall, because we traded Eli Harold to the Lions for that pick. It was a future 7th. So we traded Eli Harold. We were probably going to cut him. They gave us a future 7th, and that pick eventually turned out to be Jauan Jennings. Eli Harold. What a name for the past, right? How cool is that? So that's where he is. Now, what does 2024 have to do? Is he going to get more snaps this year? Probably doesn't make much sense whenever you talk about you drafted a 1st and a 4th-round wide receiver. Debo and Ayuk are still on the roster. Are you going to run the ball more? Are you going to throw the ball more? Like, what's that going to look like? I do expect his receptions to go up. I would probably say 23 to 25 would be, my kind of bracket of where he's going to go. But again, his impact is felt in much bigger ways than just his receptions. Will his snaps go up? Will they go down? I think they're going to stay about the same. Could see a slight downtick, especially on 3rd and long situations, whenever you want more space creators out there, like a Ricky Pearsall, like a Jacob Cowing maybe. But we'll see. Jauan Jennings is here to stay. And, man, we don't fudge the numbers here on 49ers Rush. We all submit 1 through 91, and we rank every single player. And so we had 4 ballots this year. Then we average all the numbers out, and then they slate whatever else. Man, I really hope we're here again, and, Jauan Jennings is in that 24 to 25 category for 4 years straight. But, man, just consistent, definition of a 49er. Love this guy. The fans love him. The team loves him. Jauan Jennings, appreciate all you do. So glad you're going to be here for 2024 and 2025. And for us, we'll just keep counting them down.